Ooh, what is going to happen? Chapter 12. What happened to the snowman? So everyone stared at the white bears in horror. No one had thought of the chimney. What a pity they hadn't stopped it. I am going to let the magic snowman in, said the first white bear. Then the father bear spoke up in a very sorrowful voice. Cousins, why are we enemies? We have always been good friends up until now. The four white bears looked at him and at the mother bear in a sudden amazement and surprise. They rushed at them with loud "Humph" noises. Joe thought they were going to fight the three bears. But no, the white bears were not going to fight. They were hugging the three bears as tightly as they could, and to the children's amazement, tears were pouring down their furry faces. We didn't know it was you, said the white bears. Why, cousins, we would never have fought you if only we had known you were the three bears we love so much. There, said the mother bear, wiping the tears of a white bear off her fur. It's all right, but for goodness sake, tell the other bears we're friends. We don't want the front door battered down. Moonface opened the door and yelled out of it. Bears! It's all right. This is the cottage of your cousins, the three bears. We're all friends here. But the white bears didn't answer or come in. Instead, a big white shape came up and squeezed through the door, the magic snowman. A chill fell over the little room. The white bears were frightened of him, for he was their master. He shut the door and glared at everyone out of his stone eyes. So even my own bears have gone to the enemy, he said. What will you say if I turn you into ice and snow, everyone, now? Nobody said anything, but to Beth's surprise, Moonface shut the door and then went to the fire. He piled on 3 great logs and winked at Beth. The snowman took up a white bear by the scruff of his neck, that means the back of his neck, and picked him up and shook him. So you found your voices, did you? He said. Didn't I tell you that you were only to say "Humph" and not speak a word to anybody? I won't have bears that talk. He picked up another white bear and shook him as well. So you are friends with my enemies, are you? He said. The room was beginning to get very, very hot. I think I can see what might happen here. I don't know about you. Joe took off his coat. So did the others. Moonface slyly put on another log on the fire. The fire crackled and shot great flames up the chimney. Franny wished she could take off everything. She was so hot. Whatever does Moonface think he is doing? Making the room so hot, she thought crossly. But just as she was about to tell him what she was thinking, he winked at her again, and she said nothing at all. Moonface had some strange plan that he was carrying out. She wasn't too sure. I'm sure all of you have guessed what Moonface is doing. The snowman went on and on, grumbling and threatening. Everyone listened and said absolutely nothing. Moonface raked the fire and it blazed up higher. Now, this is what I'm going to do, said the magic snowman. I'm going to take this nice little cottage for myself, and I shall live here. All of you others can live in a snow house and freeze. For all I care, you will all wait on me and do whatever I say. Yes, said everybody, and they all knew now what Moonface's plan was. He meant to make the room so hot that the magic snowman would melt on the spot. Clever old Moonface. A little trickle of water began to run from the snowman's broad white back, which was near the fire. Moonface pointed to it secretly and grinned. Franny, thought Moonface, beaming face looked so funny that she began to giggle. She really couldn't help it. Goldilocks giggled too, and stuffed her handkerchief into her mouth. The baby bear gave a high squeak of a giggle. "How dare you laugh?" shouted the snowman angrily. "Outside! Outside! All of you, now! This is my cottage, and not one of you shall stay here." They all crowded round, except Moonface, who crouched behind a big chair, determined not to leave the fire in case it burnt low. Outside it was bitterly cold. The white bears quickly dug up the snow and made a high wall to shelter the others from the wind. They crouched there, cuddling close to one another for warmth. The big white bears wrapped their furry arms around the children and warmed them beautifully. Joe thought they were very kind indeed. They waited and they waited. They could see smoke pouring from the chimney of the cottage, and they knew that Moonface must be keeping up the fire. The bears humphed every now and again, and the children whispered to one another. Then suddenly the door of the cottage was flung open, and Moonface stood there. His big face was beaming like a full moon. "You can come back now," he shouted. "It's quite safe." They all crowded back into the cottage. Joe looked for the snowman, but he was gone. There was nothing to show that he had ever been there, except for a very large puddle of water. "He melted very quickly," said Moonface. "He may have been very magic and very powerful, but he was just made of snow after all. So he melted like a real snowman on a sunny morning." The polar bears humphed with delight. They had hated being servants to the snowman. "We'll all say good-bye to you now," they said to the three bears. "This cottage is cosy, but it's too hot for us. Come and see us again whenever you like. Good-bye." Everyone hugged them good-bye, and Joe felt quite sad to see them go. Moonface shut the door after them. "Now we'll get back home," he said. "I'm a bit tired of this land. Come on, bears, help me to get the cottage back safely." He didn't do the same magic as before. He drew a circle on the floor in blue chalk, and the three bears stood inside, holding paws. Moonface danced around them, singing strings of odd magic words. A wind rose up, and the cottage rocked from side to side. Darkness came down, and for a moment no one could see anything at all. Then gradually the darkness went, and the wind blew no more. The sun shone warmly in at the window. Beth gave a shout. "I say, we're back in the little woody corner, where we first saw the cottage, and it's daytime now, not night time." "Well, we've been having this adventure all night long," said Moonface, with a laugh. "It's sunrise now. The night has gone. You'd better hurry off home, children, or you'll be scolded for leaving your beds at night." They hugged Goldilocks and shook hands with the three bears. "We'll come back and see you soon," said Franny. "Thank you so much for all your help." Goldilocks and the three bears stood at the door and waved goodbye as Moonface hurried the children away down the lane to catch the train back to the Enchanted Wood. It wasn't long before they had got to the station, waited for a train, slid off the roof, and settled down in a carriage. When they got to the Enchanted Wood, they said goodbye to Moonface, and Franny gave him a kiss for being such a help. He was so pleased that he went red all over his enormous face. And Beth laughed. "You look like the setting of the sun now," she said. "Now, you really ought to be called Sunface." "Goodbye, and see you soon, I hope," called Moonface, and off went the children home, and got into bed just about an hour before their mother called them to get up. My goodness me, they were all very, very sleepy the next day. chapter 13, Moonface gets into trouble. So that was quite an adventure. Those bears, goodness me, and that horrible snowman. I think he met the correct end there, melting on the spot. So let's see what happens in chapter 13 with Miss Higgins on Monday. Have a lovely weekend, you two, celebrating the bank holiday weekend. I hope you have the weather is nice for you and you enjoy yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye.